Matt Stansbury, Program Director for Uptime Institute Symposium, and I'm here today with Nicholas Carr, keynote speaker at Uptime Institute Symposium 2012, and Nick is going to be talking today about building a bridge to the cloud. Nick, thanks for joining us today. Can you tell us a little bit about your session?
Sure, and thanks, Matt. I wrote a book about cloud computing called The Big Switch. Actually, now it's 4 years since that book came out, and what I'd like to do in my session is talk about what's changed in those 4 years, because I think there's been a whole lot that's changed about attitudes toward the cloud. And certainly we've moved from, I think, a lot of skepticism, particularly among IT professionals, to an acceptance and even an enthusiasm about cloud computing as a new and important alternative for how companies get IT capabilities, expand their IT capabilities. And so it's going to, by building a bridge to cloud, one thing I want to look at is kind of some practical models of adoption, how companies are moving themselves, but also in some cases their customers, to a cloud model in many different ways. And I think, as is often the case with a disruptive technology, and I think cloud computing is one, it's the companies who are best at building a bridge from the old world to the new world that really have the greatest success.
Yeah, that's a great point. What do you think are some of the easy wins for folks? What are the kind of the no-brainers for building that bridge that you've seen or thought about?
Yeah, I'm not sure if any of them qualify exactly as no-brainers, but I do think that we're seeing some different models of adoption kind of emerge. One is what tends to be called private cloud. So you take the technologies of cloud computing and apply them to your own data center, your own IT infrastructure, virtualization, and so forth. And a lot of companies are finding that at least as an interim step. They're not ready to commit to the public cloud, and they see more development has to go on there, but they get quite a lot of benefits by adopting cloud technologies, cost benefits, speed benefits, and so forth. Another model is using the cloud as a supplement to your existing IT operations in order often to reduce the risk of launching new businesses or new extensions to your business. And so we're seeing a lot of use of software as a service, compute capacity, storage capacity as kind of a quick add-on that reduces the risk of business initiatives. And I think there's more specific areas that really depend on the company itself. So if you have if you do a lot of data analysis, for instance, and it's kind of comes in spurts, like the pharmaceutical business, cloud data centers provide a way to kind of do a lot more of that at a very reasonable price and remove the need to make big investments in your own infrastructure, your own assets. So those are three models that are emerging that a lot of companies are exploring, and a lot of companies are getting real benefits from it.
Nick, any advice for to make the comparison to the big switch? The folks who are kind of stoking the boilers in their own companies now, the people who are delivering IT currently, to kind of how the shift's going to affect them.
Yeah, I think what's pretty clear is that we're in a longer-term technological shift that's also going to change the way IT departments and IT professionals operate and work, and what the kind of mix of skills is. And I think it's extremely important at this point that everybody take the cloud seriously, begin to at least experiment with it and look for benefits, and also begin to think, at an individual level of the different skill requirements between the old world of proprietary IT, client-server IT, and where a lot of jobs were administrative and maintenance-focused. And I think we're going to move away from that. It's not going to happen overnight, but we're going to move away from that toward much more business-focused IT kind of positions. And so one role will be a broker role inside companies where an IT professional connects external and internal IT capabilities to business requirements. So a much more business-focused attitude, and even in some cases looking out to the ultimate customer and how cloud computing and mobile computing and apps and all of these things can connect companies to their clients and their customers better.
Great.
One of the themes that I think is important to look at is, and I've touched on this, is that cloud computing, and this is similar to what we saw with the build-out of the electricity grid, that the immediate focus was on the technology, the infrastructure, how do we build up scale, how do we get the assets in place. But ultimately, where the innovation really takes place is thinking about how this changes your business, and in particular, how it changes your relationship with your internal customers and with your external customers. And I think we're at the very, very beginning of companies beginning to struggle with that and also beginning to see that as a new opportunity to get some competitive advantage.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us today, Nick. And you can join us May 14th through 17th at Uptime Institute Symposium. And here, Nick Carr, Pulitzer Prize nominee and New York Times bestseller. So thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Matt.